Hello, I'm Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme in the kitchen. And this week, we have been bracing for Hurricane Dorian. And guess what? Dorian is here. If you can look right out there, you can see those trees blowing, and they have been blowing so hard since about 1 o'clock left this morning. And it's been quite an adventure. So we are still bracing because guess what? It really hasn't gotten to Myrtle Beach. So because of that, I'm still doing my usual. I'm working around the little blips with electricity, kind of blinking on and off. And I just want you to know that, first of all, let me say to my subscribers that I really appreciate all of the new subscribers. I am just absolutely thrilled that you have joined our family. Now, second of all, I want to give my heartfelt thoughts to those who are in the Bahamas and those surrounding areas that also got Dorian, but only they got Dorian as a cat and it stayed there for days. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. And to look at the weather and the news and to see the devastation that's taking place, it is absolutely breathtaking and just horrifying. I can only imagine how terrifying it was. And as you think of an island, you think about the fact that when water comes, where do you go? And so, see interviews of people who really had struggles and had awful things to happen to them, and some people are still missing. So, to those families, I am keeping you in prayer, and I just pray that those in the upper portion of Florida and down in Georgia, and of course South Carolina, North Carolina, and as it continues to move northeast, that it will be without major incident and certainly without any loss of life. God bless you all, and let's get ready to get into the kitchen. Giving you a quick midday update. You can see how the water is accumulating behind us. You can also see our trees, the wind's picking up. In the midst of the storm, we are still celebrating apples. And I'm preparing an apple salad. I have some apples that I want to use. I'm using at this point a red apple that I've cut into fourths and then sliced. I have some broccoli and some red onion, and I'm going to place all of those together in a bowl. Now we're going to need, I looked at it and I thought, this salad needs a little color, and hubby had picked up some yellow delicious apples, and they really are delicious. You can see how I'm taking those fourths actually and slicing them in half, and then so I guess I ended up actually with eighths to keep those pieces bite-sized so it won't require a knife to have to use. I did the same with the broccoli and of course with the onion. And I'm only using half of the yellow the yellow apple, because I want you to get the color. I'm going to take this lemon and I'm going to squeeze some juice over the apples to keep them from turning. So I'm going to give them a nice little squeeze. I'm only going to use a half and just give it a good squish over those apples. There we go. And then I'm just going to toss those apples so that all of them can have a little bit of the citrusy taste and flavor and also be protected. Now, I have some Hellman's mayonnaise. I'm starting with about a half a cup of Hellman's. You'll see down there on the plate with the apples that I've placed some cranberries rather than raisins. Now, some people like raisins. Hubby actually isn't a fan of raisins, so I'm using cranberries. He does like that. Now, there are various recipes for broccoli apple salad. Some people use sour cream, and some people add sugar. I like mine just a tiny bit more savory, so I'm adding a little bit of pepper, and as I started to shake, I realized that I was pretty low on pepper in that container, so I'm going to have to get a little more and just shake, 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 shake. There we go. And then, of course, we need some salt, because that's just going to bring out the sweetness of the apples. And you know what? That's it. Now, you could have placed the lemon juice in this mixture and then mix the whole thing. But the main part of the salad that really needed the lemon were the apples. So that's the reason why I didn't do that. I took care of the lemon juice on the apples separately. Now, I'm in the refrigerator digging for the Hellman's again, because I'm looking at this and thinking I'm probably going to need a little bit more. I also needed a larger bowl, so I'm going to add the broccoli and the red onions, and you'll see I'm kind of breaking those up as I add them in and trying to decide whether I'm going to use all of the red onions or whether a few will do. And certainly you can do the same, because we happen to like onion and some people don't, but this is sweet enough that I think it's going to carry it. So I'm throwing in most of the apples anyway. The rest of those I'm going to play with, and I'm tossing a little bit by hand. Now, what I'm really going to have fun with is that I'm going to add some pecans, but not yet, because I don't want them to be broken. So you'll see that I'm adding in the dressing, and as I look at this, I'm just thinking, is this enough? And that's what you'll have to do too. It just depends, because I really didn't measure out the broccoli. You usually on average use about 4 cups of broccoli, and at least 2 apples, close to 2 apples, depending on the size of the group that you're serving, because certainly this salad I could serve to a group, and I think it would stretch. It's one of those salads that will stretch, because some people are going to take a lot and some people are going to take a tiny bit. So if you want your sweeter, then you would add in at least a teaspoon of sugar or honey to your salad dressing. I did not. I kept mine savory. Now, here are those pecans, and these are locally grown South Carolina pecans, and what I'm doing by hand is that I'm breaking them, because I want them to be broken in half, but I want them to be broken in half the way I want them. I wanted them long, like long slithers, and so I took the time to break each one. There were a few that were in there that were already broken, so I just had to throw those in. But for the most part, I was able to get the pecan slithers. So I'm putting those in. I start with a few, and because I love pecans, I think I'll probably go back and add a few more. You know, it's always good to play with these kind of things and to be one with the food that you are going to eat and that you're going to serve to your family. Know how it feels, know how it tastes, know what they like, and you have to adjust the seasonings for yourself. Now, some people actually drop their broccoli into boiling water for a couple of seconds, then take it out and put it into ice cold water. We like natural broccoli just the way it is when it comes off the vine, and so we are going to leave it just the way it is. Now I'm preparing this about a day in advance because I want those flavors to marry. You can do this salad in the morning and serve it by the evening, just putting it together. And some recipes call for a dash of apple cider vinegar. I didn't put that in there. I didn't think it needed it. And you know those few little red onions, why leave them out? I had no plans for them. And those few little bits of apple, I thought, go ahead and put them in, since I have a half an apple that I can eat with lunch. And so I'm going to continue tossing just very gently, because I do not want to break up the apples or the broccoli. And all of these ingredients are pretty substantial, so they can handle being tossed around. If you need to adjust your salt and pepper, you can do that. So guess what? The salad's done. I'm going to clean up the sides of the bowl and put the top on it, and it is going to go into the refrigerator. Well, here we are. It's still going. Now, here's our in a hurricane soup. You'll see that I have some brown beef that's already been browned, some ground beef that's been browned, onions. I'm going to add a can with the juice. Now notice, I'm not going to put in any salt because I already know most of these have been salted, and I need juice. So I'm adding in 1 can of corn. This is organic corn. 1 can of organic cut green beans. I want this done in a hurry. I'm taking the top off of that. I'm going to add those in as well. And you know, those little rascals did not want to come out of there. I had to really give them a good shake. And I'm going to add in a can of diced tomatoes. The only reason why I didn't put in a little bit of tomato paste was because I really wanted it to taste more beefy rather than tomatoey. Now, we need some seasoning, because other than the hamburger portion was actually hamburgers that was left over from the 4th of July that I froze. And I just chopped them up real good and added them in. Now I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of chicken base. And I'm going to add in a couple of cans of water. Now I know you're wondering, okay, you got beef, but you're adding chicken base. The only reason I'm adding the chicken base is because I was out of beef base. So you have to use what you have. Remember, we're in a hurry. So there's our 2nd can of water. I'm looking at this and I'm trying to decide, do I need more? So I went ahead and added that 3rd can. Now I am going to start it off pretty high because I want it to get to a boil, and then I'll turn it down. So let's add in a little garlic powder. Remember, we're trying to use up the things we have. And this is a great weeknight meal because literally you can put it together, walk away from it, and go do some of the things that you need to do. Monitor homework, take care of the kids, go pick up somebody, go to the football field and pick up whomever needs to be picked up, come back, and your dinner is ready to go. I put in a teaspoon of pepper. That was a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of my house mix, which has a little paprika, has of course garlic and onion powder. It also has a little pepperoncino, a little bit of black pepper, but I knew it needed the addition, so I'm putting in a little extra red pepper, and that's just because it's going to bring it a little warmth, but not make it hot. Now, here's the onion powder. I'm just going to give it a shake rather than measure it out. There wasn't much because I know I already have red onions in there, but this just has a little bit of a different flavor, so that's why I'm adding it as well. And a little bit of sea salt. Like I said, I'm going to be careful with the salt because I already know that there's salt in canned goods. Now we're going to give all of this a really good mix. Now let me tell you, later on, a few hours later, I put this on kind of a medium and just let it just bubble, 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 hoping that our electricity would stay on during the storm. And then I realized that in the freezer, because you know, when you have a storm, and especially a tornado, you can lose a freezer full of food very easily. I've had that to happen. And so I didn't want that to be an issue. I had prepared some beans, some pinto beans, last week. And so I took that container of pinto beans and added it to the soup later on. They were already seasoned, it was already cooked, and it just added that extra umami that we're looking for. Now you see that I've given it a good turn. Realized I also had some peas. Let's throw some peas in there. I'm going to add in a couple of handful of peas. We like peas, and these little English peas, look at the size of that package. Isn't that cute? It's just enough for 2 people. So I just want enough peas to add a little more green to our mixture. So let's give that a good turn. And then I'm going to put the top on this, and I am going to let it go. This is about, oh goodness, I have been awake since 3 in the morning because that's when the storm really started to roar. Now, this is some chicken stock that I made and put into little small containers. So I'm going to add that homemade chicken stock down into the soup as well. Now, if you have some additional stock, you could, if you're at home and you're purchasing these materials, then certainly add some beef stock or beef broth.
So this is the evening forecast. It's still, Dorian is still in category 2, and oh my goodness, the rain is just blowing. I don't know how well it's showing you, but hopefully you can hear the noise. I can certainly feel the wind and the water pelleting me as I'm standing here. So I'm getting ready to get in.
We have certainly been blessed today. Category 3 hurricane is roared all day, and this is about 5:30 in the evening. The winds and the rain are still going very strong. Fortunately, it has started to weaken just a tiny bit, and we're down to a category 2. So I'm preparing dinner, and we're going to have some of that broccoli apple salad on the side, and we're going to have some of our hurricane soup with this. That looks good. Looks good. So let's get to that soup. I can't wait. It smells so good. Are you ready? Let's take that top off. Woo! Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, this soup has simmered all day. Look at those vegetables. Wow. If you want a bowl, you're welcome. Because certainly this is more soup than hubby and I can eat in an evening. So, you know, I always prepare enough because you never know who may knock at your door for dinner. And I want them to have some of this soup as well. So I'm going to dish it up and get ready for a nice hot dinner. The bowls are ready. We were really blessed today. Besides, I had planned to finish this video up, but the internet kept blinking in and out. And considering that the day had gone as well as it did, I knew you would not mind if I did it the next day rather than the same day of uploading this video. So I pray that if you are in North Carolina or Virginia or traveling up that East Coast and you're receiving the storm today, it has downgraded at this point to a tropical storm level. And I pray that you have a wonderful and a safe, blessed day. Let's grab some crackers. You see my tiered tray over there? Yeah, I took a moment and kind of put that together as well. You know, it's always nice to have things that are pretty to look at while you're preparing your dinner. Have a wonderful evening, because dinner is served. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday, we were being beat up by Hurricane Dorian, and this morning, God sends his son. Now, I am just amazed in all of his glory and all the things that he does. I hope that my neighbors are out and walking. Everybody's back doing the things that they normally do. You'll notice I had to take the wreath off the door because it was just going crazy out here, blowing around, and I didn't want it tore up, for one thing, because the winds from Dorian were just, they started as a Category 3, ended as a Category 2 sometime last night, and moved on toward North Carolina. I appreciate all of the well wishes that I've received. I posted on Instagram, and of course it goes on Facebook, and so I've heard from many of you just to and I appreciate and know that God has answered prayers. I continue to pray for those who are in the Bahamas and have family in the Bahamas, that he will also provide for their every need. I hope you have a blessed day. And this video was fun because now the broccoli and the apple salad was a serious recipe, and I've posted it down below. The Hurri soup was my version of a quick and easy soup that you can do on the weekend, and we needed to do before we had any problems with power. Now, you know what? Not one moment did we lose power. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. We didn't lose any. We only had a couple of blinks with the internet, but other than that, everything was pretty normal. So I can only give honor to him. So have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I look forward to seeing you in the kitchen on Monday. So have a blessed time.